So before we actually get into today's video, I want to talk to you guys about jerseyfifa.com, because as you can see they have hooked me up with a load of fresh shirts for this year's World Cup. I've got the England home kit, the England away kit, and also a nice little retro shirt. And you can do exactly the same if you head to jerseyfifa.com using the link in the description down below. They also do the same for club football as well. The latest home shirts, away shirts, but also some really nice retro kits. If you are interested, head to the link in the description down below and use code jerseyfifa for a discount when you order. Now into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where once again we are back with the Scouting for United series. Now for those of you that don't know, the Scouting for United series is the series set up this season where we take a look at loads of different players from around the world, around Europe, all across the world playing football, and kind of look at their strengths and weaknesses as a player, their injury record, their mentality, and look at whether or not they fit what Manchester United and Erik ten Hag are trying to do. And then we assess whether or not United should have them on their shortlist, if it's a player that United should definitely be targeting, or if it's a player that United should kind of keep their distance from. And as you can tell today, we are talking about Victor Osimhen, the Napoli and the Nigeria striker. Now, it might come as a little bit of a surprise for me to be talking about a striker today, when Manchester United are seemingly so close to securing Weghorst on loan till the end of the season. However, the fact that that is only a loan deal suggests that United will still want a striker in the summer, and I think it's time that United get a striker who can potentially be the striker for the next 10 years or so. A true number 9 who can score lots of goals for United, and Osimhen is certainly a candidate to do that. He's one of the highest rated young strikers in Europe at the moment, and he's a player that I've seen a lot of you guys asking for in the comment section. So that's who we are talking about today. In terms of profile, like I said, he's 24 years old, from Nigeria, plays for Napoli, doing very well in Serie A at the moment, has been for a couple of years now, and stands at about 6'1" tall. Now this stat here is now about a week out of date, however he is still the top scorer in Serie A with 10 goals at the time of recording. I know it says 9 here, but he has played since then. But still, the top scorer in Serie A at the moment, despite missing 6 games at the start of the season. And this is now the 4th or 5th season in a row where he has hit double figures for goals. However, this year he looks set to kind of break his own personal record and set his best ever goal tally in the league, which is a good thing for him in his career as he's developing as a player to be scoring more and more goals every season. So, what sort of player is Victor Osimhen? We can see that he's a decent goal scorer, but what is he apart from that? Well, to be honest, that is where he really thrives, in his goal scoring. He is a true number 9 that wants to get in the box and score you goals, and that's kind of reflected in his base FB ref report. If we look at some of his other metrics, like his passes attempted, his progressive passes, his dribbles completed, his pass completion, all reasonably low. However, when we look at that top section, kind of the shooting section, ranking very, very high for non-penalty goals, non-penalty XG, shots total, and non-penalty XG plus expected assists. So, this is a guy who thrives in the final third. That is really where he wants to operate, and to an extent that is reflected in his heat map. Yes, there are glimpses of him dropping deeper and doing some work, which we will come on to. However, that red zone where he really kind of focuses his work is in the penalty area. This is a true number 9. This isn't a false 9, this is a goal scorer. A goal scoring striker. So, would that work with Manchester United? Does he fit into what Manchester United want to do? Well, currently if we look at Manchester United, one of their biggest strengths is playing in transition on the counter-attack. And what will often happen is the opposition will be building down this side, Casemiro will win the ball, United play a quick 2-pass combo in the midfield, Martial will then come short, dragging a centre-back, and this opens up acres of space for Marcus Rashford to run into. This is a big pattern of Manchester United so far this season, and of course Martial's movement deeper is a big part of that. So, question 1. In terms of this is Manchester United's current main strength, does Osimhen work with that? Because you don't want to weaken yourself when you're signing a new striker. So can Osimhen play in that way? And straight away, I'm not actually too sure that this is his strength. I think he is capable of moving deeper, and potentially being so young, it's something that he can still work on. However, in transitions, rather than dropping deep and opening up space for other players, he actually prefers to get in behind himself. So whereas Martial was often coming towards the ball, Osimhen wants to spin. He's always on the last man and looking to get in behind the defence, especially down his right hand side. And he is one of those players that will chase every ball. You can put a ball anywhere, Osimhen will chase it. You can put it left wing, right wing, through the middle, Osimhen will chase it and harass the centre-backs and make life really difficult for them. Think in terms of former Manchester United players, perhaps someone like Danny Welbeck, who chased literally everything a few years ago, but also someone like Jamie Vardy in his prime for Leicester City. Chasing every ball and just not giving the centre-backs a moment's rest, that is really what Osimhen brings to you. We actually have a goal here which captures this quite nicely. We can see Napoli on the counter-attack from earlier in the season. Osimhen peels to the right-hand side. He doesn't come short to offer a feet option, he spins into that channel on the right-hand side, from where he is able to use his pace pace and his power to escape the centre-back, from where he then has a really good finish into the back of the net, and his finishing is something that we will come back onto. However, what we can see there is that he wants to run that channel. He wasn't coming short to get the ball and open up the gap for someone else. His intent was to get in behind. So the question, does that work with Manchester United? I don't think it does currently, and that is a slight problem. United currently want someone that drops deep to link the play. Osimhen doesn't really do that. However, like I said, I think he could grow into that role. Physically, he is very tall, he is very strong, so he is a player that kind of almost needs to learn his body a bit more. He gets into positions where he can hold the ball up for his side. However, he almost doesn't fully understand how to use his clear physical advantage to hold players off. So I think this is an area where working with a coach like Ten Hag, he could really develop over the next couple of seasons. He is pretty decent at it already, kind of getting his body between the ball and the opposition. However, it's certainly an area where I think he could grow, and like I said, really take advantage of his superior athletic physique, because he really is tall and strong. If you go into a physical battle with him, he's quite hard to beat, if he can get the mental side of it and the positioning side of it, the technical side of it on point. So yes, there is the doubt over the fact of, could Osimhen play in a counter-attacking system? I think he can in the sense of wanting to run in behind, but is he going to drop deep and link the play how United want to? I'm not sure. However, what I find difficult to do is rule him out because of that. Because when we now look at his shooting FBref report, we can see how good he is. He really is a lethal player in the attacking third. 93rd percentile for goals, 96th percentile for shots total, and the 85th percentile for shots on target, as well as the 94th percentile for goals / shots on target, 92nd percentile for XG, and 95th percentile for non-penalty XG, and then finally the 82nd percentile for non-penalty goals plus non-penalty expected goals. This is a guy which really thrives in the penalty area, so he may not offer that counter-attacking threat in the same way of what Ten Hag wants. However, if you can create chances for him in the box, he is absolutely lethal, and that is something that United could use. A player who doesn't need too many touches, but still scores goals. This is his recent game against Sassuolo, where he scored a hat-trick from just 1.2 expected goals. They were his only 3 shots on target, and he only had 24 touches total. So every 8 touches he was scoring, and he only completed 6 out of 9 passes. So he completed 6 passes but scored 3 goals. That probably highlights it the best. He isn't a player which is going to drop deep and link the play, however get him into the penalty area and he will score you goals. So could Manchester United do that if Osimhen signed for the club? My sort of instinctive answer to that question is yes, because I think he is a very, very good goal scorer because of his movement. Now we saw there that his non-penalty, let's find it again, his non-penalty XG was very high, which means that he isn't just scoring world-class goals, he's not massively outperforming his XG, which therefore hints that he's getting a lot of chances, and for a player to be getting a lot of chances, their movements have to be good in the penalty area, and that is certainly true of Victor Osimhen. And I think if United could bring him into the club, he would offer them a box threat. We're talking about Weghorst the other day operating on the back post. Osimhen is very, very similar. If the ball is down Manchester United's left-hand side, Osimhen would want to drift to the right-hand side. If the ball is being built down the right-hand side, he wants to be on the left-hand side. And actually a good example of this is his heat map from earlier. And there's kind of something in here which we didn't focus on. You see how his heat map here is slightly to the right hand side of the penalty area. The reason for this is because Napoli focused a lot of their attacks down the left hand side because of the Georgian winger Kvaratskhelia performing so well. So if Napoli are focusing their attacks down the left hand side, Osimhen wants to be slightly to the right hand side of the penalty spot, and we can see that perfectly in his heat map here. So that is certainly something he would offer to United, and again we've kind of got a goal which shows his movement in the penalty area. So this is the goal here. We can see Napoli building down the left hand side, and we can see Osimhen in the middle, and at the moment he's slap bang in the middle of the penalty area. However, as soon as Napoli make the move inside, Osimhen moves towards the back side of the penalty area, gets off the back of his defender, can see the defender's number, which means that he can see the ball and the player, allows him to beat the man and then put the ball into the back of the net. A really good finish and a really good goal. A goal which I don't think current Manchester United players score. Peeling onto the back of the defender and then beating them in the air isn't really a Manchester United goal at the moment. Osimhen would offer them something completely different. Now, you might worry that this potentially makes Osimhen a little bit predictable. However, I don't think that is the case. Because yes, whilst he will be on the back post when the ball is out wide, as the ball gets closer towards the goal, he then moves further towards the near post, which is actually a really interesting bit of movement. What we will see is, let's say it's Marcus Rashford down the left wing here for United, or with Napoli it's Kvaratskhelia, as they get closer towards the byline. So the further this winger is moving towards the goal, the further Osimhen moves towards the near post. So by the time his winger or an underlapping midfielder or an underlapping fullback has got towards the byline, Osimhen will find himself between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. And this is really good movement. Again, something which United perhaps don't do enough of. We've seen a lot really in the past few seasons where a Manchester United winger will get into this sort of area, cut the ball back, and there is no one in that spot ready to finish it. it will often go whizzing past the box and out at the other side. Osimhen isn't the sort of player that will let that happen, because as the winger is getting closer to the byline, Osimhen is moving from the back post now in towards the near post, and like I said, the edge of that 6-yard box, where he can score a lot of tap-ins. He doesn't score a ton of spectacular goals, but he scores these goals where he is there. He's not a scorer of great goals as such, but he is a great goal scorer. He will get you a lot of goals over the course of the season, and again we have a goal which kind of sums this up. So this time the play is being built down Napoli's right hand side, and I just want you to watch Osimhen in the middle here. As the ball goes towards the byline, as Napoli attack the byline, just watch Osimhen. Currently he's kind of in the middle, almost peeling back a little bit. As Napoli get closer to this byline, watch his movement. He is now coming towards the ball, towards that area we were talking about on the edge of the 6-yard box. He checks to move the defender, checks back here. The defender has now lost him. Again, he can see the defender and the ball. The defender can't see him, which allows him to peel off, get this ball, put it into the back of the net. Again, it's a very easy goal for him to score, but it all comes because of his movement. Like I said, he isn't going to score great, fantastic goals, but he is a great goal scorer because he will score so many like this over the course of the season. These tap-ins in and around the penalty area. Again, something which I would argue Manchester United currently lack. So I guess now the question is, would that work with Manchester United? We can see that he isn't necessarily the perfect tactical fit at the moment. At the moment, United like to transition, and I don't think that suits Osimhen. And just to clarify on that, Osimhen is very good in transition, just not in the way that Ten Hag particularly wants. At the moment, Ten Hag likes his striker in Martial dropping deeper to create space for others. Osimhen doesn't particularly want to do that, he wants to go in behind. So the question is, do you sign him or not, basically? And I think it could be a really good signing to make because of the fact that it gives United potentially a slightly different profile. Now, just hear me out on this. I could see a world next season, if United were to bring Osimhen in, where potentially Anthony Martial is the starting striker for games against Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Champions League ties if United qualify for the Champions League, where United may not have as much of the ball, therefore the transition is more important, so Martial's movement could be good. However, we could then see Osimhen start in the large bulk of the rest of the games. Those games where United need that penalty box threat, that penalty box presence, where they've got the opposition pinned really defensive. Can United break them down, get a ball into the box? Osimhen is the sort of player that could sniff out 20 goals a season just by being in these areas against low blocks. That's kind of how I could see it working if he was signed for the club. I don't think he would be guaranteed to start 38 league games a season, but perhaps that's exactly what Ten Hag needs. Someone who can still grow as a player, which Ten Hag can mould, but also someone that is good enough to play regular football. And like I said, kind of have that rotational role in the team with Martial. Martial plays the games where you want to transition. Osimhen plays the games where you're a bit more sustained in your attacks and you need that box presence. That really could work for me. Finally, before we finish the video, there is one more negative side to signing Osimhen, and that is his injury record. He has been quite an injury-prone player in the past. He's had a couple of serious injuries. We can see a cheekbone fracture, why he still wears the face mask, and also a shoulder injury, which kept him out for about 14 games over the course of 2 months. This is a little bit concerning. However, we aren't seeing too many repeated injuries. The one repeated injury we did see is the shoulder injury. However, he does now seem to have got over that a little bit. He's gone a couple of years without injuring his shoulder, so hopefully that would be okay. The other thing is the transfer fee. He's probably going to cost about £70 million. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know already that a lot of you guys like him because you've all been asking for this video in the comments. Hopefully now I have given you my opinions. Like I said, transitioning Manchester United right now, he probably doesn't quite suit. However, where Manchester United want to go to, where they really control football games and they need a goal scorer in the middle, Osimhen could kind of be perfect for that. So it's a bit of a weird one to judge. Almost like this second half of the season, he probably wouldn't be ideal because I don't think United are far enough in their rebuild where they control enough games for Osimhen to really be worthwhile. However, potentially by next season, when Ten Hag has had more time with the team but also brought in a few more players, United could then be at the stage where they're controlling games, trying to break down low blocks. Osimhen could suddenly become very useful. So it's a little bit of a hard one to predict because we don't know where United are going to be. However, I really like the look of Osimhen, and I am going to be watching him very, very closely during the second half of the season, and I will almost definitely revisit this in the summer. Kind of once we've seen another 6 months of him, seen him develop, we will go from there. But regardless of that, I still want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below right now. What do you think of where he is at the moment? Do you think he fits United's current system? Do you think he doesn't? What do you think of his goal scoring exploits, his injury record, his price tag? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you in the next one.